Hello everyone, this is going to be a quick guide for zeroing your HAAS CNC machine, CNC mill. So to start to begin with, let's put our workpiece properly set up here. So we have some parallels. We put our workpiece on top of the parallels. Let's make sure this is nice and tight here, nice and flush. You don't want to have this crooked or in an angle, so you don't have any trouble with alignments. Okay, so workpiece on top of parallels. Make sure you tighten this up. I'm using a rubber mallet. Make sure it's nice and flush against the parallels. No chips underneath the parallels. Tighten up the vise with the vise handle. Nice and tight. We'll be using an electronic edge finder with a G54 tool holder for the HAAS machine, so with the collet setup. So we're basically gonna insert this into the collet. Make sure it's tight. Tighten it up with the wrench if possible. Okay, although it's just a edge finder, you're gonna make sure you tighten it up. It's nice and tight. Now we're gonna set it up on restart. Go to the hand jog. Let's reset it, and then we can release the tool that's in here. To release the tool, there is a tool release button right up top here. I'm gonna push it and then release it to release. Now we're gonna slide our tool holder or our screw, our edge finder here. Make sure it's lining up on the sides. Tool release again. Good to go. Now we're gonna start jogging the edge finder and find our X and Y 0. First of all, we need to go here, click on hand jog. We're gonna move the X. We're gonna go about 10 thousandths at a time. Each click's gonna be 10 thousandths. So we're gonna move our machine to the left, move the Y. So I just clicked on Y. I'm gonna keep moving 10 thousandths at a time each click. Moving. Then I'm gonna bring it down on the Z. Just jogging it down on the Z, just so it's close to our part. Once it's there, we're gonna jog the X. I just clicked X jogging again. And then we're gonna slightly touch it. When you get pretty close, make sure you slow down the increment here. Let's go 1,000 at a time. And then we're gonna make sure the sphere right there on our electronic edge finder touches the metal. Again, this is one type of edge finder. You may have like a wobbly edge finder. Several models, all of the options in the description. You can also have other ones, but they all work similar. So I'm moving only 1,000 at a time here. Now it's beeping, that means it's our 0. So once we get the 0, we want to go to offset. So we click on offset. It's gonna highlight the work offset. We're gonna go to G54, the X, and we're gonna part 0 set on the X. So the X is gonna change here when I click part 0 set. There we go, G54 zeroed, and now we can move our probe out. So we just zeroed the X. Now we gotta make sure we also subtract the radius of our edge finder. So we're gonna go back up on the Z. So I'm gonna move the edge finder up. I'm gonna go 10 thousandths at a time on the Z. Then we're gonna go in here on the X axis to 20 thousandths or 200 thousandths. So we're gonna go X about 10 thousandths at a time to about 0.2 positive, because remember we have to subtract our radius of our edge finder. So we're at 0.2. You guys will notice that right here, if you see from the side here, you can see that the center of the tool now, after we subtracted the 0.2 of an inch of the radius, is lining up with the edge of the part on the x-axis. So that means we can go over here. So it's 0.2, we're gonna zero it again, part 0 set. We want to make sure we highlight the X, so we're gonna go to the side here, highlighting the X, and we click on part 0 set. This changed from 0.2 to 0. This is your X 0. Okay, so we just zeroed the X. We're gonna do something similar to the Y axis. So we're gonna jog the tool on the Y axis. So I'm gonna click on Y. I'm gonna start jogging the tool on the Y axis. We can go a little faster, 0.1 at a time. There. When I bring it down, I want to make sure I go very gently so that the tool doesn't hit the vise, the jaws of the vise here. So we want to make sure I bring it down gently and slightly touch the part here so I can zero it from here. You can also zero on the jaw of the vise here. So X and Y from here. Then you would just have to line up your workpiece with the jaw with a precision triangle. In this case, I'm just zeroing X and Y based off of the part just to show you guys how to do this. So now I'm gonna jog the machine down on the Z very carefully so that our edge finder doesn't hit the jaw. I also have to move it back a little bit on the Y, so I'm gonna move it back a little bit on the Y. And then I'm gonna keep going down on the Z. So jogging down on the Z. Make sure the center of the sphere is fairly close to the side of the part, to the face. And then we're gonna move on the X. I'm gonna jog it on the X so that we're inside the part. Then I can start jogging on the Y about 1,000 at a time till it start hitting the part, and then it starts beeping. And that's gonna be our Y0. Go easy, okay. Nice and easy. Right there. This is R0. So same thing. I'm gonna make sure the Y is highlighted. Then I'm gonna click on part 0 set. You notice that this changed to 0. Then we can move it back. Again, we have to subtract 0.2 of the radius of the edge finder. So I'm gonna go back on the Z, back up, and then I'm gonna move the Y further in to 0.2 of an inch right here. So we're gonna go 0.2 of an inch. That's 0.2 right there, and then we make sure that the Y is selected, and then you click on part 0 set. There you go, zeroed again. X and Y is already zeroed. I am not going to zero the Z. I'm gonna leave the 0 at Z here just as it is. What I'm gonna do for the tool, I'm gonna go to offset, then we're gonna highlight the offset tool offset window. I'm just gonna zero the geometry of the tool. So if I don't do this, if I just leave it here at 0, and if I just put 0 here with tool offset measure, this is gonna be sufficient for you to start working on your part. Okay, you don't need to do you don't need to zero the Z, and then you have to take into account this amount here onto the tool offset. You just have to go to offset as long as the 0 here, as the Z is zeroed right here. Okay, similar procedure here. We're gonna change from the edge finder to the tool. So we're gonna go up. I'm jogging the machine up on the Z axis. Make sure the hand jog selected, then you can click on tool release, make sure you hold on to it, and then you click on tool release. Just released it. Now I'm gonna set up a 2 flute 3/4 of an inch carbide end mill. So make sure it's lining up here, and you click on tool release. Gonna hold on to the tool. For zeroing the tool, you can either use a shim. In general, I just use a piece of paper. That's sufficient for most of the work that I do. That's fair enough for as far as the accuracy that I want for most of the parts. So I'm gonna get a piece of paper, put it in between the part and the tool. Once it's fairly snug, I'm gonna hit tool offset measure, and that's gonna give us the height 0 for the tool based off of the part. Now you can also, again, like I said, you can use a shim, and then you subtract the shim thickness on the part. In my case, in general, most of the work that I do, I'd say 80%. I just use a piece of paper between the tool and the part, and that's sufficient for me as far as accuracy goes. So I'm gonna be jogging the tool down. There you go, a piece of paper right here. Once this piece of paper is fairly snug between the part and the tool, that's gonna be our height 0 for the tool. So we're gonna start jogging down on the Z. We can go a little faster for now, so 10,000s at a time. It's getting pretty close, so we're going to slow it down a little bit. I'm gonna move it on the Y, so I'm jogging on the Y right now, and then I'm gonna move on the X as well a little more to be right on top of the workpiece. Then I'm gonna keep jogging down on the Z. I'm gonna go 1,000 at a time for now, and then I want to get this paper here fairly snug. Let me hold on to this camera here. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going down 1,000 at a time, making sure this is fairly snug here. Once it's fairly snug, that's our height 0 for the tool. So that's our tool offset measurement. It's fairly snug now, you see it? What we're gonna do right now is to 0. So the tool number 1 is highlighted. We're just gonna click to offset measure. It's gonna change this value right here. And that's all you have to do, okay? X and Y zeroed, your tool zeroed. There you go. You're ready to start machining your part, okay? I'm gonna go back up here. So I'm jogging on the Z. If you have more than one tool, just do the tool change on the carousel. Click on ATC forward. You're gonna do your tool change. And then you can start zeroing this tool as well. Go to the next one, same procedure. All you have to do after you zero X and Y on G54, you have to change your height for all the tools. So I just changed for tool number 1, do the same procedure for tool number 2, so on and so forth, to as many tools as you guys have to use. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe, you leave your like, and that's all for today, folks.